Commander James Harrison stood at the observation deck of the Stellar Alliance station, watching the stars drift by as he contemplated his new assignment. The brass had finally lost their minds, he thought, assigning a human to command an elite squad of Zentari warriors. The reptilian species had fought alongside humanity during the Nexus Wars, but that didn't mean they trusted each other. "Commander, the squad awaits your inspection," Lieutenant Kira announced from behind him. The young Andorian's antenna twitched nervously, a telltale sign she expected trouble. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Let's not keep our new team waiting." Harrison straightened his uniform and followed her to the training deck. As the doors slid open, he was met with the impressive sight of 12 Zentari warriors standing at perfect attention. Their scaled skin gleamed under the harsh lights, and their vertical pupils fixed on him with barely concealed skepticism. First Warrior 6, their previous leader, stepped forward. "Commander Harrison, Squad Aegis reports for duty." His voice carried the characteristic low rumble of his species, but Harrison detected the slight edge of challenge in it. "At ease, warriors," Harrison commanded, walking down the line. Each Centauri stood at least a head taller than him, their powerful frames making him look almost fragile in comparison. But Harrison hadn't earned his position by being intimidated. "I've reviewed your combat records. Impressive, particularly the Erebos Station defense." Six's head tilted slightly. "You are familiar with our battles." "I was there. Different squad, same hell." Harrison stopped before him. "Lost good people that day, just like you did." A ripple of movement passed through the squad. The Erebos Station defense had been a turning point in the war, where human and Zentari forces had fought side by side against the Void Collective. Few talked about it anymore. "We have new orders," Harrison continued, activating the holographic display. "The mining colony on Proxima Vitae has gone dark. Initial scans suggest Void Collective activity. We drop in 6 hours." "With respect, Commander," Six interjected, "human commanders typically coordinate from the command center. You do not need to." "I lead from the front, First Warrior 6. Always have, always will." Harrison met his gaze steadily. "I know what they say about humans, that we're fragile, primitive, but we survived first contact. We survived the Nexus Wars, and we did it by never backing down." The mission briefing proceeded smoothly until alarms blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights bathed the training deck in an ominous glow. "Station command to all personnel. Multiple hostile signatures detected. Void Collective vessels emerging from FTL. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Harrison turned to his squad, seeing the same readiness in their posture that he felt in his bones. "Well, warriors, looks like we'll be working together sooner than planned. 6, take 3 and secure the primary defense grid. Rest of you with me. We're repelling borders." As they moved through the station's corridors, Harrison could feel their eyes on him, watching, evaluating. The first explosions rocked the station just as they reached the main docking bay. Through the reinforced windows, they could see the sleek, black ships of the Void Collective approaching. "They're targeting our shield generators," Six reported through the comm. "Commander, standard protocol is to fall back to defensive positions." Harrison checked his plasma rifle's charge. "Nothing standard about today, First Warrior. We're going to show them why this station is under joint human Zentari command." He turned to his squad. "Who's ready to make history?" The Zentari warriors exchanged glances, then raised their weapons in salute. It wasn't trust. Not yet, but it was a start. As the first boarding pods crashed through the outer defenses, Harrison allowed himself a grim smile. Sometimes the best way to bridge differences was to face death together. The battle that followed would be remembered as the day Station Aurora proved that humans and Zentari could do more than just coexist. They could become one of the most formidable fighting forces the galaxy had ever seen. But for Harrison, leading his squad through the chaos of close-quarter combat, it was simply about keeping his people alive and their homes safe. They fought together, humans and Zentari, moving as one unit through the station's corridors. When Harrison took a hit that would have been fatal, it was Six who pulled him to safety. When Sex's weapon overheated during a crucial moment, it was Harrison who provided covering fire. Hours later, as they stood amid the aftermath, counting their victories and their losses, Harrison noticed something had changed. The way his squad looked at him was different. They had seen him fight, bleed, and never waver. He had proven himself not with words, but with actions. "Commander," Six approached, his scales bearing fresh battle marks. "The squad awaits your next orders." This time, there was no challenge in his voice, only respect. Harrison looked at his team, seeing not aliens but warriors who had fought beside him, bled beside him. "Secure the prisoners, tend to our wounded, then meet in the war room. The Void Collective just made a big mistake, and we're going to make them regret it." As his squad moved to execute his orders, Harrison knew this was just the beginning. They had survived their first test as a unit, but bigger challenges lay ahead. The galaxy was changing, and perhaps it was time for everyone to change with it. The emergency beacon's signal pulsed weakly through the void, a desperate cry for help from the research vessel Helios. Harrison studied the holographic display on the bridge of their patrol ship, the Vigilant, as his mixed crew prepared for rescue operations. "Analysis confirms it's authentic," Lieutenant Kira reported, her antennae twitching with concern. "But something's not right, Commander. The distress signal's encryption is outdated by 3 months." First, Warrior 6 moved closer to the display, his scaled features reflecting the red warning lights. The Helios was conducting classified research on dark matter containment. If the Void Collective has compromised the vessel, then we could be flying into a trap, Harrison finished. He'd learned to read Zentari body language over the past few weeks since the Station Aurora battle. His squad had earned their reputation as the most effective mixed species unit in the fleet, but this mission felt different. "What's your tactical assessment, First Warrior?" Six's vertical pupils narrowed. "The debris field surrounding the Helios would force us to approach from the ventral side. Perfect position for an ambush. However," he paused, mandibles clicking thoughtfully, "if there are survivors, we are honor-bound to attempt rescue." Harrison nodded. After their successful defense of Station Aurora, he'd come to understand that Zentari warriors valued honor above even victory. "Agreed, but we do this smart." He activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, battle stations. Rescue team, gear up. We're going in dark." The Vigilant's engines hummed as they approached the stricken research vessel. Through the view screen, the Helios looked like a wounded animal, its hull scattered by what appeared to be weapons fire. The surrounding debris field told a story of violence that made Harrison's combat instincts scream warnings. In the launch bay, Harrison checked his squad's equipment one final time. They'd modified their armor with integrated stealth systems, a human innovation that the Zentari had initially resisted but now embraced. "Remember, we're looking for survivors first. If we encounter hostiles, maintain comm discipline. Silent takedowns only." "Commander," one of his newer squad members, Warrior Trill, spoke up. "Our sensors detect unusual energy signatures within the Helios, similar to Void Collective quantum drives, but different." Harrison frowned. The Void Collective's technology was already barely understood. Variations could mean anything from a trap to a breakthrough. Note it in your combat logs. We'll investigate if we get the chance, but survivors are priority one. The boarding operation began smoothly, almost too smoothly. Their shuttle docked with the Helios's emergency airlock without resistance. The ship's emergency lighting cast long shadows through the corridors, and the artificial gravity fluctuated unpredictably. Life support is functional, Kira whispered over their secure channel. But power distribution is erratic. Something's drawing massive energy from the main reactor. They moved through the ship in perfect formation, a testament to their training together. Harrison had learned to complement the Zentari's natural strength with human adaptability, creating tactics that played to both species' strengths. But as they approached the main research lab, even he felt his skin crawl. The lab doors were sealed with emergency lockdown protocols, but showed signs of being breached from the inside. 6, Trell, take point, Harrison ordered. Kira, hack that door. Everyone else, watch our backs. As Kira worked, Harrison noticed strange markings on the walls, not weapon damage, but deliberate patterns that seemed to pulse with a faint, sickly light. His helmet sensors tried to analyze them, but returned only errors. The door finally yielded with a hydraulic hiss, revealing a scene from a nightmare. The lab had been transformed into something alien. Crystal-like structures grew from the walls, pulsing with the same energy signature Trell had detected. In the center, suspended in a field of dark energy, floated what appeared to be a tear in space itself. By the first nest, 6 breathed, using a Zentari expression Harrison had never heard him utter before. They succeeded. They actually did it. Did what? Harrison demanded, but his question was answered by movement in the shadows. Figures emerged, crew members, but changed. Their bodies were partially crystallized, faces frozen in expressions of agony. Commander, Kira's voice shook slightly. I'm reading quantum entanglement patterns throughout their bodies. They're still alive. The crystallized crew members moved with jerky, puppet-like motions. Behind them, the tear in space widened, and through it, Harrison glimpsed something that defied description. A realm where the laws of physics seemed more like suggestions. Fall back, Harrison ordered, but the crystallized crew had already blocked their retreat. He recognized one of them, Dr. Rena Marshall, the project lead. Her mouth moved, but the voice that emerged wasn't human. The convergence cannot be stopped. She spoke in a chorus of overlapping voices. Your species separation is a flaw. We offer unity. Perfect unity. Harrison's mind raced. The Void Collective hadn't attacked the Helios. They'd succeeded in whatever experiment they'd been running. This wasn't just a rescue mission anymore. It was a potential extinction-level event. 6, Harrison spoke calmly, despite the horror surrounding them. Remember that maneuver we practiced? The one you said would never work. The Zentari warrior's mandibles clicked in understanding. The human gambit, it's suicide. Only if we do it wrong. Harrison smiled behind his helmet. Squad, on my mark, Pattern Delta. We're going to show them what real unity looks like. What followed was a dance of desperate precision. The squad moved as one, human and Zentari techniques blending seamlessly. Harrison's lighter frame allowed him to dodge between the crystallized crew, while 6's superior strength kept them at bay. Kira's technical skills and the warrior's raw power combined to create opportunities where none should have existed. They fought their way back through the ship, sealing bulkheads behind them, but Harrison knew it wouldn't be enough. The crystal infection was spreading, and the tear in space was growing larger. There was only one option left. Kira, set the Helios's reactor to overload. 6. Get everyone back to the shuttle. I'll handle the containment protocols. Commander. 6 grabbed his arm. The human habit of sacrificial heroics is unnecessary. We do this together, or not at all. Harrison met his warrior's gaze and saw not an alien soldier, but a brother in arms. He nodded. Together then. Squad, prepare for emergency extraction. Let's make sure whatever happened here never leaves this ship. As they raced against time to prevent an interdimensional disaster, Harrison realized that true unity wasn't about erasing differences, it was about finding strength in them. The Void Collective's perfect unity was a perversion of that truth, and he would die before letting it spread. But first, they had to survive. The debriefing room aboard Station Aurora felt smaller than usual as Harrison reviewed the Helios incident footage with Admiral Blackwood. 3 days had passed since they'd destroyed the research vessel, but the implications of what they'd discovered haunted every moment since. The quantum signatures match 5 other accidents in the past year, Blackwood said, her weathered face grave. We've been compromised at the highest levels, Commander. Someone's been feeding research data to the Void Collective. Harrison studied the holographic display showing the pattern of incidents. The crystallization effect we witnessed, it's evolving, getting faster, more efficient. He paused, considering his next words carefully. Admiral, I need to know, was the Helios's research authorized? Officially, no. Unofficially, Blackwood's expression hardened. Someone's playing a dangerous game, Commander. I'm trusting you with this because your squad's unique composition makes you unpredictable. They won't see you coming. Before Harrison could respond, the station's internal sensors detected an unauthorized quantum surge in the lower laboratories. Alarms blared as Harrison's comm unit crackled to life. Commander, it was Kira, her voice tight with urgency. We've got a situation in Lab 7. Trell found something, but, sir, you need to see this. Harrison found his squad already assembled outside the lab, 6 coordinating a security perimeter. Through the observation window, they could see Warrior Trell standing motionless before a computer terminal, his scaled skin showing the first signs of crystallization. He was analyzing the Helios data, Kira explained, her antennae flat against her head in distress. Something triggered in the files, some kind of quantum virus. Harrison watched his warrior struggle against the transformation. How long? Minutes, maybe less. 6 answered, his usual stoic demeanor cracking. Commander, he is my clutch brother. Let me. No one goes in there alone, Harrison cut him off. Kira, can you isolate the virus? Already trying, but it's unlike anything I've seen. It's not just code. It's rewriting reality at the quantum level. Her fingers flew over the terminal. Wait, these signatures. They're not random. They're receiving instructions. Harrison's blood ran cold. From where? Inside the station. The revelation hit like a physical blow. The enemy wasn't just at their gates. They were already inside. Harrison made a rapid series of decisions, each one feeling like a step into an abyss. 6. Get our squad on full alert. Kira, lock down all quantum communications. I want every transmission traced. He activated his command override. Station security, this is Commander Harrison. Initiate Protocol 0. Authorization. Harrison Alpha 70. Protocol 0. Total station lockdown. No one in, no one out. It was designed for containing biological weapons, not quantum viruses, but it would have to do. "Commander." Six's voice was tight with controlled emotion. "Trell found something before he was infected. He managed to transfer a partial data packet to my personal comm. The data painted a disturbing picture. The quantum virus wasn't just a weapon. It was a key, designed to open doorways similar to what they'd seen on the Helios. But this was just the beginning. The station itself had been transformed into a massive quantum antenna, broadcasting the virus across human and Zentari space. They're not trying to destroy us, Harrison realized. They're trying to transform us, all of us. A new alarm sounded. Quantum signatures were appearing throughout the station. The virus was spreading faster than anyone could have predicted. Through the observation window, Trell's transformation was almost complete. "Sir," Kira called out, her voice shaking. "I've traced the transmission source. It's coming from the central computer core." Harrison looked at his squad, human, Zentari, Andorian, each face showing the same determination he felt. "Whatever happens next, we do this together. 6. We'll need demolition charges." "You intend to destroy the central core?" Six asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "The whole station if we have to. Better that than letting it become a beacon for whatever this is." Harrison checked his weapons. "Kira, you have 10 minutes to download everything you can about this virus. We need to warn both our governments." As they moved through the station's corridors, they encountered more victims of the transformation. Station personnel, both human and alien, frozen in various stages of crystallization, each one a reminder of what awaited them if they failed. They fought their way to the central core, using everything they'd learned about working together. Human intuition complemented Zentari's strength, while Kira's technical expertise kept the virus from spreading further. But with each level they descended, Harrison couldn't shake the feeling that they were being allowed to proceed. The central core was a massive chamber housing the station's quantum processors. But what they found there defied explanation. The crystalline growth had formed patterns, not random, but deliberate, mathematical, beautiful in their alien symmetry. And at the center stood Admiral Blackwood, her skin already showing advanced signs of crystallization. "I wondered if you'd figure it out," she said, her voice overlaid with that same chorus they'd heard on the Helios. "Humanity's greatest flaw is its individuality. The Zentaris is their rigid hierarchy, but together, transformed, we could be perfect." "Perfect," Harrison spat. "Look at yourself. Look at what you've done to my warrior. I've freed them from the limitations of flesh, of species, of self." She gestured, and the crystal formations pulsed with energy. "The Void Collective showed me the truth. Separation is death. Unity is life." Harrison felt it then. A pull in his mind, a whisper of possibility. The virus wasn't just transforming bodies. It was transforming consciousness itself, creating a hive mind that transcended species. But as he looked at his squad, he saw something else. Unity that came from choice, from trust earned in battle, from differences embraced rather than erased. "You're wrong," he said simply. "Real unity doesn't need to be forced." The battle that followed would be remembered differently by every survivor of Station Aurora. What they all agreed on was this. When Commander Harrison gave the order to detonate the charges, he did so knowing the cost. When First Warrior 6 moved to protect his commander, he did so not out of duty, but out of brotherhood. And when Lieutenant Kira's last-minute discovery provided a way to reverse the transformations, it was the combined knowledge of 3 species that made it possible. The Void Collective's perfect unity had failed to account for one crucial fact. True strength lies not in erasing differences, but in choosing to stand together despite them. The quantum pulse from Station Aurora's destruction rippled across space, a warning beacon to both human and Zentari worlds. Harrison stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching the debris field where his home for the past year had been. They'd saved who they could, reversed the transformations where possible, but the cost had been staggering. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Kira announced, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. The Void Collective is making their move. They're opening rifts across both our territories. Harrison studied the tactical display, watching as red dots appeared across the map, each one representing a tier in reality. The enemy had been waiting for this moment, using Station Aurora as a test run for something far bigger. "Commander," Six approached, his scales bearing fresh battle scars. "The Zentari High Command has issued a full retreat order. They believe our worlds are lost." "And what do you believe, First Warrior?" Six's mandibles clicked in what Harrison now recognized as determination. "I believe that running will only give them time to perfect their weapon. We must strike now at their source." The tactical display updated, showing new data from Kira's analysis. The quantum rifts weren't random. They formed a pattern, all emanating from a single point in deep space, a place where reality itself seemed to fold. "The Nexus," Harrison breathed, the mythical point where the Void Collective was said to have first entered our universe. They're not just trying to transform our worlds, they're trying to pull them through. The next hours were a blur of preparations. The Vigilant, already unique for its mixed crew, became a rallying point for others who refused to retreat. Human ships, Zentari war cruisers, even a few Andorian vessels, all united not by command but by choice. As they approached the Nexus, Harrison addressed his expanded crew. "What we face today isn't just an enemy we can shoot. It's the idea that unity means conformity, that peace means submission. They offer perfection, but look around you. Our imperfections, our differences, they're what make us strong. Unity's price." The battle began not with weapons, but with reality itself twisting around them. The Nexus pulsed with impossible colors, sending waves of quantum energy that threatened to crystallize everything they touched. But they were ready. Using Kira's modified shielding, derived from their experience on Station Aurora, the Allied fleet pushed forward. Zentari warriors fought alongside human marines to repel boarding parties of crystallized horrors. Andorian engineers worked with both species to maintain the shields against reality-warping attacks. At the heart of the Nexus, they found what the Void Collective truly was, not a force of unity, but a singular consciousness that had long ago abandoned individuality for power. It spoke to them in voices made of mathematical certainty. "Your resistance is an error in the equation," it said through 1,000 crystalline mouths. "We offer perfection. We offer peace." "You offer death," Harrison responded, standing with his squad as they planted quantum charges around the Nexus core. "Life isn't an equation to be solved. It's a story to be written together." The final confrontation came down to a choice. The Void Collective offered them one last chance at ascension. Perfect unity, perfect peace, perfect imprisonment. But as Harrison looked at his crew, at Six's battle-scared scales, at Kira's determined stance, at the humans and aliens fighting side by side, he saw a different kind of unity. "Commander," Kira's voice was urgent. "The charges are set, but someone has to stay to ensure the quantum cascade doesn't spread back through the rifts." "A manual detonation." "I'll do it," Harrison and Six said simultaneously. They looked at each other, and in that moment, every barrier of species and culture fell away. They were no longer human and Zentari. They were brothers who had fought together, bled together, changed together. Both of us, Six said finally. The void offers unity through submission. We will show them unity through sacrifice. Harrison nodded, turning to Kira. Get everyone out. That's an order, Lieutenant. And make sure they remember, this is how we chose to stand together. As the Allied fleet retreated, Harrison and Six worked to modify the charges, turning the Void Collective's own quantum technology against it. They were no longer commander and first warrior. They were simply two soldiers ensuring their people's survival. It has been an honor, Six said as they finished their work. The honor was mine, brother, Harrison replied. The explosion that followed wasn't just light and energy. It was a rewriting of reality itself. The Nexus collapsed, taking the Void Collective with it. The quantum rifts sealed, the crystallization reversed, and the threat of forced unity was ended by an act of chosen brotherhood. In the years that followed, the story of Commander Harrison and First Warrior Six became more than just a tale of sacrifice. It became a testament to what different species could achieve together, not despite their differences, but because of them. The Vigilant's mixed crew became a model for a new kind of cooperation between worlds. And in the depths of space, where the Nexus once stood, a memorial was built. Not to victory or defeat, but to a simple truth, that true unity isn't found in becoming the same, but in choosing to stand together while remaining uniquely ourselves. The inscription, written in human, Zentari, and Andorian script, reads simply, "For those who proved that the strongest bonds are those we choose to forge."